Hello and welcome to another episode of Nightcap with Nightcat, the kitsch-minded show where we talk about toys, boys, and life's other joys. I am your host, Nightcat. Thank you so much for being here. We've got a great show coming up for you. I'm going to talk to you all about what's going on with Governor Andrew Cuomo, that dirty little dog, coming up in the LITTERBOX. And then in NIGHTCAT Classic Tales, I'm going to tell you one of the most horrifying things that's ever happened to me as a child. But before we get into any of that, obviously we got to get things kicked off with Wild Wednesday. Now, Wild Wednesday is normally where I bring in a critter that I work with at my part-time job at Scales and Tales. But today is going to be a little bit different because on Monday I had the really awesome opportunity of featuring Scales and Tales with Big Budah on Fox 13. If you're not from Utah, I don't know that that means anything to you. But if you're from Utah, you know what a legend Big Budah is. So I got the chance to take some critters onto the show and I thought I would play you one of the clips. Here you go.
We are here with our good friend Jackson.
Hi.
And telling you, I don't know, maybe I haven't been paying attention before, but I'm learning a lot. Maybe it's because of the way you're presenting it to me.
We try to do it as fun as possible.
Yeah.
My technical job title is edutainer. So I'm here to educate and entertain.
Let's go. Now, I'm a little worried because you told me about the alligator and the turtle,
Right.
but you're telling me calm down.
Right. Because our alligator friend that we showed earlier, his toes were eaten off by a turtle.
Okay.
Turtles are carnivores. They live in the water. Tortoises, however, are herbivores. You can actually see some grass sticking out of her mouth. She was eating it earlier.
Okay.
But they are strict herbivores. As long as your toes aren't made out of carrots, you should be okay.
Or they don't look like carrots, too. You don't want them, yeah. So
Shaleen Dion.
I love
She has a
the
sister
name.
named Shalina Gomez as well. So Shaleen Dion is a sulcata tortoise. They come from Africa. They are the third largest tortoise species in the entire world. And where they live, it gets really hot and there are lots of predators, so they have to dig burrows to stay safe,
Okay.
which is why they're also called the African spur thigh tortoise. You see these little shovels on their arm?
Okay.
They use that to dig, and they'll dig a burrow so deep and wide that you could fit like a whole refrigerator down there.
Really?
Which is just amazing. And then they get all sorts of roommates because it's safe from the sun and predators, so things like meerkats and warthogs will move in with them. Pretty much the whole cast of The Lion King, except for the lions. They're not invited. I'm Big Girl.
Now, are they legal or illegal to own in Utah?
These are legal, but
Okay.
something you need to consider is that this species will get really big. When they're full grown, they'll be about 200 pounds and the size of a wheelbarrow. They can do a lot of damage. They can dig through drywall, they can dig through floors, and they could live over 100 years.
So they might be legal, but not probably the best pets to have.
If you're ready to take on a 100-year commitment, if your kids are willing to take it over in the will,
Your grandkids.
absolutely, your great-grandkids, absolutely get a tortoise. They're fantastic. They're so
Yeah.
sweet. But
and
they
I just
do live
want
a
to
long
clarify
time.
because, some of us don't know all the rules for animals, but holding him like that with a shell, because, kids might, is
Oh,
he
I know.
hurting them? Does that hurt them?
No, their shell is made out of bone, and it's actually designed to take way harder blows or anything than just sort of picking her up like that.
Yeah.
That's actually
But
the safest way to pick her up.
Don't hit them. That's not good.
I'm certainly
Yes.
not encouraging
Thank you.
anybody,
Thank
for
you.
sure. But these guys have their shell is made out of bone. It's covered with a layer of keratin, which is what your fingernails are made out of. So anything that can't bite through bone like us cannot bite through a turtle or a tortoise.
You see what I'm saying? I'm having fun and I'm learning.
So
That's
much
why
fun.
he's an edutainer.
That's right.
He's an edutainer. All right, how do we get a hold of you and schedule you to come out and teach us about animals in a fun way?
Yeah. So you can visit scalesandtalesutah.com. You can also find out more about me and my true crime walking tours of downtown Salt Lake City at nightcatshow.com.
I can hear him eating. Look. Go ahead, take a bite.
Say goodbye.
might
You know
try
what?
to
I'm
get
going to
your
get a herd of tortoises
She's like, oh,
instead
is
of
that
a herd
a
of
blueberry?
goats to mow the lawn.
Tortoises. It's going to take them 100 years.
That's an expensive lawnmower. Yeah, it's going to take 100 years to cut your grass.
Her heart will go on, honey. Shaleen Dion. That close-up of her stupid little face covered in grass is just... it's my favorite thing. It's just the best thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. She's so cute. You can find out more about those animals at scalesandtalesutah.com. Big thank you to Big Budah for having me on the show. And you can check out more little clips and everything on my Instagram, at JacksonWhitt, Jackson with a C-K, W-H-I-T-T. All right, I think it's time for us then to get into the stupid news. Let's get into the LITTERBOX. Ew, what stinks in here? The Litterbox is the part of the show where I go through all the stupid news and I only bring you back the best stuff, and we are going to publicly shame some people, starting with Governor Andrew Cuomo. Now, Andrew Cuomo last year was just like the golden boy. New York was doing so good with COVID. People were praising him for everything that he was doing to fight the pandemic. He even wrote a book recently about what it was like being governor during the New York pandemic. But he has fallen so hard. There have been dozens of women coming forward with allegations of sexual assault and sexual harassment while they were working for him as he was the governor. So these are state employees, both like in his office and externally. Like a state trooper was one of the first ones to come forward and be like, yeah, he kept grabbing my lower back and my legs and he tried to kiss me. It was super weird. He's a real creep. Well, the Attorney General's office has been looking into these allegations, and they released a report this week that was full of some horrific things. First of all, it shared that not only was he accused of sexual harassment and creating a toxic work environment, he actively retaliated against one of his victims after they came forward. So this was an employee, and after she came forward and said what had happened to her, his office leaked memos showing that she at one point was reprimanded for yelling at her staff. So it was his way of discrediting her so that her allegations didn't hold water. He's a monster, this guy. Out of all the allegations that were investigated, 11 of them were confirmed. The AG's office were like, yeah, between witness statements and text messages, these guys always think they're so freaking smart too. They think they can get away with anything. They're like, I'll never get caught. I'm so smart. And they leave a paper trail. Don't send text messages, you absolute idiot. What are you doing? Anyway, 11 of those accusations were deemed credible after extensive interviewing with witnesses, and they looked at those text messages. Now, this is the part that's really making my blood boil, because despite the fact that he did all of the things that he did and retaliated against the women who came forward, which means that he broke both state and federal laws while in office, the Attorney General's office is not going to bring any criminal charges. Why? Why? So I guess, you know what? You don't even have to be that smart and you can still get away with it. It's just, I can't believe it. They get caught in the middle of committing crimes and they don't get punished whatsoever. We let them get away with murder, these people. Now here's the thing. To make matters, so much better, President Biden came out and said that he should step down. But not before Biden said that he goes, I'm sure that there are plenty of instances where he was just being friendly and they took it the wrong way. But for those that were actually sexual assault allegations, which doesn't make Biden look any better, I'll let you know right now. So he kind of somewhat defended him. But then he said, I do think he should step down because of the credible allegations. So the president is asking him to step down, not forcing him, not making him. He's not calling for Cuomo's constituents to get together and ask for a recall. He just said, yeah, he should step down. Just so passively. Cool guy, folksy Joe, really working hard, guys. You guys are doing great up there in the government. Now, this is on the heels of a couple of other scandals. Number one, that book I told you that he wrote about being the world's best governor, he used state money to publish that book. So that is super illegal. You can't use government money to fund a personal venture. So he's in trouble for that. And then the book is about what a great governor he was during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're just now finding out that he was underreporting COVID deaths in nursing homes. So actually, guess what? He wasn't doing such a good job anyway. So he wrote a book of lies and then he made the state pay to publish his book of lies. Oh, these people still have jobs. And I'm showing snakes to people for money. What a world. A man was spotted at a rodeo in Idaho, which, oh, Idaho, you try, but you're not very good, are you? You're basically just Western Wyoming as far as I'm concerned. They were doing the famous Preston Night Rodeo, and the bull eventually bucks the rider and pretty much just makes a mad dash right for the stands. Like, there's the west side of the stands, and this bull tries to hop the fence, kind of gets stuck on the fence, but continues trying to stampede or rampage or whatever you want to call it, up into where the people are. So naturally, most of the audience, bounces. They get out of the way, right? one guy decides to take matters into his own hands and pulls a gun on the bull. I've never heard of anything more American. I've never heard anything more American than this guy who was at the rodeo and pulled a gun to solve all of his problems. Oh my gosh. What are you gonna do? So this guy, he gets up from the stands, and apparently, by the way, the governor of Idaho was in attendance at this rodeo. And this guy faced no charges, didn't get in trouble, was standing his ground apparently, even though he pulled a gun in the presence of the governor because he was, instead of just getting out of the way, just get out of the way, bro. Just get out of the way. Now, there's not a whole lot written about what happened after this incident. I'm guessing that the bull was safely taken into custody where it was questioned for an unrelated murder. An Olympic sprinter from Belarus was rescued by Tokyo police after her country took her against her will to face punishment in Belarus for coming out against their coaches. Like, literally, that's all she did. So I guess what happened is that a bunch of their athletes couldn't make it. So Belarus had this sprinter, her name is Krystsina Tsimanouskaya. So she was an Olympic sprinter, and they put her last minute on the relay team. And she got on Instagram and was like, I don't know, they said some of the athletes couldn't make it over to Tokyo, so they were just plugging us in different places, and I've never run relay before, so I don't know what I'm doing. And she basically just said, these coaches don't know what they're doing putting me in this race. Well, here's the thing. You cannot criticize sports in Belarus, I found out. Their president, his name is Alexander Lukashenko. Lukashenko is like this big sports fanatic. He's also a dictator that has ruled Belarus since like the early 90s, but he's like nuts about sports, and he uses any Belarusian sports success to tout what a great leader he is. Look at what I led us to do. I got us a little piece of metal from the Olympics. Ah, what a great ruler I am. Oh, these people. The propaganda that they choose to hang their hat on is so, like, I'm a fan of propaganda, but it's got to be good propaganda. Sportsball is not going to convince me that you're a good leader. Now, the really scary part about Lukashenko, aside from the fact that he's an egomaniac and uses sports to intimidate everybody, he's also like a violent ruler. He is well known as retaliating against any political rivals that may come his way, and that's how you pretty much maintain power for 30 years, Lukashenko. Ah, you got it right from the dictator playbook, didn't ya? And to make matters worse for Krystsina, he made his son the head of the Olympic Committee for Belarus. So not only was she shaming the coaches, she was thereby shaming Lukashenko's son and the president, Lukashenko himself, which Lukashenko does not stand for. So he called Tokyo immediately and was like, you guys get her on a plane and you get her back to me right now. She is going to get punished for this. So the coach went up to her and was like, all right, we're taking you. And she was basically forced against her will to go to the Tokyo airport. And as soon as she had like her first opportunity, she bolted away from her teammates and she made it to the Tokyo police and said, I'm being taken against my will. I'm asking for asylum at the Polish embassy. So Tokyo police took her, and she took her to the Polish embassy where she stayed for 2 nights. She is now on her way to Poland so that she can get a humanitarian visa and stay there. If you don't know where Belarus is, by the way, it's pretty much smack between Russia and Poland. So, you know, she's only going like a short border away from the homeland that's trying to probably now actively assassinate her. So let's all keep an eye on her. Let's make sure everything is good because, you know, you shouldn't be killed because of sportsball. I mean, you shouldn't be killed, period. I don't think there's a good reason to kill anybody. But you shouldn't be killed because of sportsball. What world are we living in? I think that's one of the most disgusting things I've heard in our modern history. And have you heard about our modern history? Woohoo! It is gross. Gross. And that is the litter box. All right, I think it's time for us to dive into the toy collection then with some sunken treasure. Sunken Treasure is the part of the show where I find something really cool in my toy collection for us to play with. Now, these ones did not come in a box, so I had to use the Angela bag because I still like a big grand reveal. I can tote it, I just need your eggs. I love Angela so much. Oh, I can't wait to show you these. I got these for a complete steal, but first I have to show you what they are. Look at these gorgeous plushies! So these were made by a company called Grund. They came out in 2000, so they are pre-movie merch, baby. You know that's my favorite merch. And they still have the tags on them. They are in pristine condition. Brand new, this puppy was $48. That's the quality of plush we're talking about here. Isn't that nuts? Oh, I love him so much. He's gorgeous. So we got ourselves a Hagrid. I'm gonna set him aside there. We got ourselves... This one's not part of the Grund line. He just came with them, but I thought I'd show you anyway because he's really cute. This is a Mattel doll. Normally he does come in a box, but, you know, they didn't have a box for him. I'm just gonna set him over... Okay. Look at the little Crookshanks! Oh... She's so cute. Her tag is a little bent, but other than that, perfect condition. Then we've got ourselves a little head wig with a matching collar, by the way. How stinking cute. By the way, I love these tails. Look how perfect and long that tail is. Oh, wait till you see Scabber's tail. It's ridiculous. Whoppa! I'm sure, like, in proportion, that's probably how long rat tails are. But, I'll tell you what. Living in a trailer park, I had a rat tail, and it was never this long. Thank you so much. Scabbers with this cute little gold collar. And Norbert in his little egg. Hold on. His little egg comes off like this, but like it's still attached because these are still in their packaging. But you just sit him down in his little egg. Plop. Okay, so here's the crazy thing. These are in perfect condition. They are expensive on their own. They're usually like 15 to 20 bucks a piece if you buy them individually. And I got all of this for $48. $48! I got them on Shop Goodwill. ShopGoodwill.com. I keep telling you, don't steal all my good stuff though. But you're not allowed to look for Harry Potter stuff on Shop Goodwill. That's my rule. You can go check out whatever else you want on the ShopGoodwill.com, but you are not allowed to touch any of the Harry Potter stuff. Alright, so here's the thing. These are in, like I said, I can't stress enough the quality of the condition that they're in. Like, I don't even know that they spent a whole lot of time in the sun. If they were displayed at all, they were like behind glass, well protected for the last 20 years. They look immaculate. And that to me says that possibly there was another Harry Potter collector who kept these pieces in really good condition and loved them for 20 years and possibly passed away or suddenly had to move and couldn't keep their collection, or if they outgrew it because they're too cool. But I don't know that that's what happened. Usually when I see really nice stuff show up at a thrift store and like a lot of it, I'm guessing usually someone passed away and their family's just cleaning stuff out. But if that's the case, just know that these are in great hands. I'm not going to hand them off to some kid or whatever to do whatever they want. They are going to stay in great condition. So if you are the person who donated them, or if you know who donated these, thank you so much, because it's literally my dream and I got the best deal on them. I'm just so obsessed with this Scabbers. He's just so cute, and I don't like rats. You know I'm not a fan of it. In fact, I'm going to roll a little clip for you. I forgot about this. Here's a little clip from my TikTok of when me and my friends came across a bunch of rats underneath the freeway overpass. Look at those rats! 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 Rats!
Chicken, want a piece?
Oh my god!
What the? Oh my god! Rats! You, my friend, are a superior rat to the freeway underpass rats. You're the #1 rat as far as I'm concerned. And that is Sunken Treasure! Alright, let's relive some past trauma. It's time for Nightcat Classic Tales. Nightcat Classic Tales is the part of the show where I relive a childhood trauma for your entertainment. I need to start this by saying that my mother was the loveliest person on the face of the planet. I am gonna trash her just a little bit in this story, so I have to start by saying that I love her so much. She was the best mom, and I don't hold anything against her. Okay, but you know, parents be messy, so we're gonna talk about some messy parenting. When I was a kid, growing up in the 90s, Everyone was still smoking. We all saw the commercials where they squeezed out the fat from an aorta and they're like, look, smoke. And we're like, all right. They cut into a brain. They pushed out a blood clot. They're like, look, smoking does that. And we're like, all right. And our parents mostly just kept smoking the whole time. Well, my mom had a habit of smoking in the car. And she'd have the window down, cigarette hanging out of the car. Like everywhere we went, my mom had a cigarette in the car. And one day, we're driving. And we're all in the back seat. Me and my brother and sister, we're in the back seat. We've got the windows rolled down. And my mom smokes a cigarette and then flicks it out the window. Again, she was the loveliest person. Don't anyone come trashing my mom for littering. I'll ruin your life. Thank you so much. But she used to throw her cigarette butts out the window sometimes. So she threw her cigarette butt out the window one time. And it went out the window and came in our window in the back seat. And immediate panic. The other two start screaming. I am just instantly crying, immediately crying, because I don't know how to handle any situation. I'm just like, ah. So my mom pulls over. She gets out of the car instinctually, because they know what to do in case there's a fire. My siblings bolt out of either side of the car, right? Well, I'm sitting in the middle, and I continue sobbing. And my mom is just yelling, get out of the car! We have to find it! We have to find it! It's gonna burn a hole! Get out of the car! Maybe it's gonna burn you! Get out of the car! And I was like, ah, ah. And like, when I am at the part of things where I'm like sounding like a ghost from Luigi's Mansion, there is no point in reasoning with me. There's just not. You are not going to be able to talk any sense. Hello. Sorry, we got interrupted because this guy decided to come say hello. Big Freddy. So I'm in the backseat just hysterically sobbing. I can't get myself under control. No one can talk to me. Meanwhile, everyone is looking for the cigarette butt that my mom inadvertently tossed at me. It was just a sloppy mess. Finally, I take enough deep breaths, I get out of the car, we find the cigarette butt. It was out the whole time. It didn't burn anything. I was crying over an imaginary fire. But I'll tell you something, ever since that day, my mom started dumping her cigarette butts into a little water bottle, so there is that. And that's another Nightcat Classic Tale. All right, it is that time again, Night Kittens. We are gonna dive into another conspiracy theory. It's the CATSPIRACY Corner. You're a conspiracy. I don't believe you're real. I think you're a cryptid, just walking the forest. All right, the CATSPIRACY Corner is where I take you through an internet conspiracy, and I let you decide whether or not it's real, because why not? It's fun. Conspiracies are fun. Did you know that Finland isn't real? So there's a popular internet conspiracy theory that Finland, the country of Finland, does not exist. Finland, #1 in happiness, #1 in gender equality, #1 in clean air, #1 in education, like #1 in literacy. These people are #1 in everything. And also home of the Nokia indestructible brick phone that that was our lifeline in the early 2000s. It just seems like the perfect place, doesn't it? Almost a little too perfect, if you ask me, Hagrid. That's what people are arguing, is that no one could ever be this perfect utopia. No one could ever be this happy and this clean and perfect and wonderful. There's something behind it. And they believe it's Russia. Because isn't it always Russia, but actually it's usually us? Russia and Japan. This is the conspiracy. Russia and Japan knew of this huge patch of ocean that was abundant with fish and no one knew about it, and they were able to kind of keep it a secret between the two, and they worked out a deal. Because after World War II, obviously Japan was just in ashes and they really needed some sort of commerce. Fishing is big business in Japan, so they couldn't wait to get into those waters and start fishing, but they needed a way to get it to Japan. So they constructed the Trans-Siberian Railroad, you know, the thing that connected Japan to like the rest of the world and Russia all over the place. That legendary railroad was allegedly only constructed to take fish from Finland, just a big patch of ocean, and move them to Japan. And as long as Japan was willing to pay Russia to move this fish, Russia was more than happy to keep the secret. So that was what happened. So Russia and Japan gaslighted the entire world into believing that this patch of ocean was actually a landmass called Finland. Now, what about the 5.5 million people who live in Finland? Like, obviously, there are people who are Finnish, right? They're not Finnish. They don't live on the land where they're told they live. They actually live in parts of Sweden, Russian, and Estonia. Oh my god, it's so good. They live in parts of Sweden, Russia, and Estonia, and they're just told that they're Finnish. And they've been brought up to believe that because they have their own language, their own history, their own culture, whatever. Now, before you go getting all scientific, well, wouldn't other countries know about this by now? Yes, they do. And you know why they keep it a secret? Because, again, Finland is number one in everything. How could they be number one in every single thing other than universal healthcare and like, you know, decent wages and stuff? How could they be number one in happiness and everything else? No. What it is that other countries use Finland as this idea for everyone to strive to. So it's basically like they're telling us about Santa Claus. They're like, if you're really good, maybe one day you can be like Finland. Maybe if you're really good, you can be happy like Finland. Ooh, just, you know, keep us normal folks, us salt of the earth working folks, happy and quiet so we're not, you know, planning coups and stuff. Now, obviously, Finland is real, and it's absolutely possible to see it from space. The conspiracy theories are like, well, actually, they digitally alter all the satellite photos. Every single one of them. They digitally alter every single frame of everything above Finland ever. I just don't think so, guys. But hey, again, I'm not going to tell you how to feel about it. Is Finland real? Tell me in the comments if you think that Finland is real or if it's just a big Finnish phony. And that's another episode of Nightcap with Nightcat. Thank you so much for watching. You have no idea how much it means to me that you watch this show every week. Thank you for being patient while we took a week off. Hey, here's the thing. So, actually, hold on just a second. So, I thought I'd give you a little update on what's been going on. So, we haven't had Curiosity in a couple of weeks. We didn't have a Nightcat last week, and part of it is because I'm working so much with Scales and Tails, and I'm doing the TV appearances like I did with Budah and everything. But mostly it's because I am trying really hard right now. I'm working really hard behind the scenes to get a Nightcat tour van. You know I've been doing the true crime walking tours. Hello, thank you so much. We're gonna promote it right there. Nightcat True Crime Walking Tours. Check it out at nightcatshow.com if you're interested. Nightcatshow.com. You'll find out more about the crime tours. But here's the thing. This has been an exceptionally hot summer, and I'm having a hard time getting people to come out into the sun during, you know, 100-degree weather and stuff. I also know that soon in Utah, it'll be too cold to be doing walking tours. So I kind of came up with a plan to get a van. So I want to do a van, and I want to add more routes to the tours. I want to do more topics. I want to talk about like Salt Lake City oddities, and I want to take you to the pyramid where they still mummify people. I want to show you like the cool murals in town and what they all mean. But that all starts with being able to get a van and being able to get a business license for a van. And let me tell you something, the city does not make that easy. I have been fighting with them forever, and I can't get so much as like more than a 2-sentence email back from anybody over there. It's been frustrating. So I've been working really hard on that, and I just wrote a 60-page proposal to try to find funding. So this has like literally everything about the tours, who our customers are, what the prices are, market research, cash flow analysis, driving records, marketing materials, everything. 60 pages basically. And I have been trying to take this into banks to get someone to listen to me and try to get a loan, and I can't get a hold of anybody. I can't get a call back or an email from financiers either. So I appreciate everyone being so patient. There are just sometimes things that I need to do for money, for lack of a better word. The thing is that the walking tours are the thing that are keeping me really afloat right now. They're the things that it's like the big money maker, and it's how I'm paying my rent and buying groceries and stuff like that, so I can keep doing all this. And so sometimes it just has to take the priority, and I can't get ahead with the city. I can't get ahead with the banks. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to scream at to get my point across of what I'm trying to do here. But it has been a battle, and I've been frustrated, and unfortunately it means that I've been a little bit distracted from making content. So I really hope that you liked tonight's show. I hope that one day I will have a van that you can come and you can take a tour. I can't wait to take you on the Oddities tour, and I also have plans of doing like a thrift shop tour. You know me and my thrifting, how obsessed I am with all things thrift stores. Well, I'd like to get a van where I can get, you know, parked on the side of the road somewhere, y'all hop in, and we just go thrift shopping one morning, or whatever. I have lots of ideas, and lots of things that I want to do. It's just taking a little bit of time to get there. So I appreciate you hanging in with me. I appreciate you continuing to watch Nightcat. Please don't forget to share it. Tell some friends about it. If there was something on here that reminded you of one of your friends tonight, tell them about it and tell them where to find it. I put the timestamps for all the bits down in the description of the video every week. Go back and watch old weeks that you haven't seen before. Every episode is going to be just as good, maybe even better, sometimes worse, I'll be real with you, than this episode. Just check out all of the Nightcap with Nightcat episodes on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and for all information about pretty much everything else, check out nightcatshow.com. All right, until next week, bye. Bye. I don't like the kissing. Am I gonna leave that in? Ugh, maybe. Ugh, gross. Bye.